a guy I know who volunteered to cook at a fundraiser for Hillary, who runs a pizzeria, upscale pizzeria in Washington, D.C., was accused, along with myself, my brother, and others, of running a child sex ring out of the pizza parlor. Mainstream media debunked that instantly.
I still have some questions about that, by the way.
But you can't pull that back, and that ended up with a guy from North Carolina, if I remember right. Yeah. Getting a gun, driving to Washington to do a self-investigation of what was going on in the basement of the pizzeria. I don't think the pizzeria had a basement, by the way, and firing his weapon. So for the employees there, for James Alefantis, who was the proprietor, for people in the community, this is a horrifying episode.
Sure.
But it's very hard to pull this stuff back. And Trump peddles it. His people peddle it. Bannon peddles it. Breitbart peddles it. He still calls Alex Jones and talks to him, and the Infowars conspiracy theories. Sandy Hook didn't happen. It was all made up to try to take your guns away. All that stuff exists. You don't see it. You don't feel it if you're largely living in reality and in a mainstream media world. But it's undermining our democracy, and I think that the companies themselves, they've taken some steps. They have a lot of responsibility.
Companies like Facebook.
Google, et cetera.
Right.
To do what they can to essentially not enhance this, not to create a ecosystem where the fake news it rose up. Somebody did it. I'm blanking on who did it, but they looked at Facebook traffic of the 20 top. I think BuzzFeed did it.
Yeah.
The 20 top political stories in the mainstream media and the 20 top fake news stories that were completely debunked, and found that the likes and shares of the fake news exceeded by 20% the mainstream news. So that's a trend that I think we're now seeing played out in Europe, in the U.S. It's undermining our democracy. It's undermining those democracies, and the Russians know how to play this game. So they did it with they intervened directly by the use of bot farms, etc. And I think that I don't know what technical fix I'm asking for, but I think the companies really need to take this seriously.
It's a rather extraordinary thing. Last night was flipping through, Roger Stone, who is a famous dirty trickster and was Trump's political consigliere for 25 years and was an outside advisor on this campaign, has written a book about the campaign. And one of the first things he says in the first couple of pages, just for those who think that this is a left-wing accusation. One of the first things he says is one of the great geniuses of Donald Trump was his relationship with sites like Breitbart and Infowars, which is, Breitbart is a right-wing, white nationalist site. It's one thing. But Infowars is a crazy person site that has theories of all kinds of nuttiness, like
really pushed to common pizza thing,
yes, the pizza thing, and Sandy Hook didn't happen,
right?
But other things, and he boasts about the fact that this was one of the keys to Trump winning, was that he found these alternative, quote, news outlets that he established a great bond with, and that's someone who was very happy that Donald Trump was elected president, thinks that's wonderful.
Well, I think you also have to reflect on your own business and the way the mainstream media handled the hack. I know you're going to have others join us.
Yeah.
But I think there was no question really in the technical community that this was being done by the Russians, that they provided the information to Assange, that even I think if you look at the publicity or this forum itself, it's like someone leaked the emails, John Podesta's emails,
as opposed to someone stole it.
As opposed to the Russian
property.
Intelligence stole the emails, and we're in cahoots with Assange.
Right. Yeah.
And as I said, weaponize the contents of them. So the mainstream media, I think, had a real hard time getting to the bottom of that of both what the Russians were doing and whatever connections there were between the Trump campaign and what was going on the outside. And you triggered that, I will stop. You triggered that because Roger Stone was the first person to say something's coming, and it's coming from WikiLeaks.
Podesta, which again leads back to the question of the potential collusion between the Trump campaign and Trump orbit and Russia.